The Chamber Connection, and I am honored to have Pat O'Dowd from the Jackson Chamber of Commerce with me. And we have Myisha Cunningham, better known as Uni. And you just celebrated a ribbon cutting for Ravenbrook Church and Recovery.
Ravens coaching.
Ravens coaching.
They are, yeah, that's all right. Well, they are actually completely separate entities.
Yes,
They are.
I am so sorry.
No,
But
that's
you
okay.
have a lot going on. In
It's
Jackson.
yeah.
First, let me ask you, Uni, where does that come from? Everyone knows
Okay.
you in town as Uni.
Correct. So when I was born, all of my hair was sticking straight forward like a unicorn's horn. And so my mom looked at me and she's like, Uni. So it's a nickname that just kind of stuck throughout the years. Yeah.
And you're one of a kind, so I think it really does. I say that in a good way.
Thank you.
Because, ever since I met you, I think I met you at Home of New Vision. Mm-hmm. You're just a dynamo and got that personality, and you're very open with your personal history and recovery. And now you're at a position where you're trying to help other people and coach them through that recovery process. So one of a kind.
Thank you.
So, Uni, what is Ravens coaching? What do you do? Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so Ravens Coaching is a recovery coaching organization that I started here in Jackson. I noticed that the pandemic was extremely difficult on those who need recovery or who are in recovery. And so, with having a lot of the meetings being completely shut down and us trying to scramble and get things online and figure that out, we had a lot of tragedies.
Right.
We had a lot of losses, and we had a lot of relapses within the community.
Sure.
And so it was very evident that we needed more recovery coaching, which is simply helping people to remove boundaries that may be preventing them from recovery or preventing them from pursuing goals that they have in their lives, and some of those things can look like even something as simple as helping someone get their ID. If you've got someone who's homeless or they're on the streets, or if they don't have an ID, do you really think they are concerned about getting into recovery? No, they're not, because they have all these other needs that need to be met before they can even have that opportunity to even cross their mind that, maybe there is something better. Yeah. And so that's why we started Ravens Coaching.
That's great.
Was for that goal.
There's more to it than just on the surface what people see. And tell me about kind of your history and how you kind of got along this path.
Yeah. So first, let me let you know I do have allergies, so my eyes are going to water throughout this time.
That's okay.
So my journey actually started when I was rather young. Both of my parents were in active addiction, and so then later, through multiple circumstances, I found myself in addiction. I found myself with this disease of addiction. And so it's always been a part of my life and a part of who I am. And then to be able to walk my parents through recovery and them, being clean and sober for 9 years now after having a 30-year addiction. I know, right? I talk about them so much because people need to know that it's possible.
Recovery is possible.
It is. People can recover, and that doesn't mean that the disease of addiction goes away by any means. So let's make that clear. This is something that we will have for the rest of our lives, but we are equipped with tools for how to deal with that for the rest of our lives.
Sure. So I'm guessing that someone who maybe they don't know if they need recovery yet, they're probably not going to reach out to call you. You might get calls from family members.
Absolutely.
And maybe coworkers and things like that. What type of, what's an ideal call for you, or as far as someone watching is saying, I have a friend who really could use Ravens coaching.
Yeah.
What should they do?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they can certainly call our number at 517-826-3032. Or they can send us an email through ravenscoaching.org. That would be the first step. And if it's a family member or if it's a friend, I certainly will work with them and help to equip them to know what tools and resources are out there even for family members, because we don't talk about that as much. But when you have family members who are in addiction, who have the disease of addiction, that is part of your life. And you need help and resources on how to work with them, on how to live with them, and to be able to give them the resources when they're ready. But a lot of family members don't know what to do. They don't know where to go for help. And so I'm here for that as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm big on family.
Right. It's more, family members are, it's probably harder a lot of times for family members to connect with their own family on this message, I'm guessing. So outside support is probably great.
Absolutely.
So you help them set the proper boundaries and everything else.
Yes, we can talk about all of that.
Yeah. And this is a service that Jackson really needs. I mean, the pandemic, like you said, has certainly propelled that need to heights that we haven't seen before. I mean, the amount of overdoses and everything else.
Yeah.
But so you're coming in at a great time, certainly.
I'd like to think so.
It's we're hearing, about how the pandemic has led to a lot of relapses. People lost their jobs, their home. They don't have their normal routine. Any advice for kind of getting out of that rut? If you're kind of, you're not going down the right path. Is there just some good advice for getting out of that little rut, just to kind of get started?
Well, absolutely. Well, before you even get to the point of a relapse, there are stages that happen before you get to this relapse, before you actually have that physical relapse. You've already relapsed mentally. You've already planned it. You've already stopped reaching out to people. You've isolated in some circumstances. And with the pandemic, we were forced to isolate, which brought about a lot of challenges. And so my biggest thing that I would say would be to use your resources. If you've already been in recovery, if you have not gotten a contact list, go old school. Pick up the phone.
Yeah, it works.
Pick up the phone. Call someone. Even if you're having a terrible day, it doesn't even have to be I'm in danger of relapse. It could just simply be I'm having a terrible day and I don't know how to articulate how I feel.
Yeah.
And this is eating me up inside. Do you have like 5 minutes to talk? That makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And that can change your trajectory in life.
And I hope people can tell. I mean, we've just been talking to Uni for a few minutes, but I could talk to her all day and feel comfortable talking to you all day. So
thank you.
That's very important. A nice, comfortable, understanding coach, because it is very hard.
Yeah, it is. And the thing about it, really, like in a lot of ways, I'm really just a glorified cheerleader.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the one who's doing the work. Like I have my own recovery that I am working on. I just say, here's some options. You can choose whatever it is. That's the beauty of recovery coaching, is that, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery. So what works for some people to help them recover may not work for others. So you have to have options.
I think that's one of the coolest things that I've seen come through the recovery community. When I started going to meetings, 12-step meetings, NAAA, 20 years ago, it was, this is how you do it. And I've seen so many people fall off because maybe that wasn't the pathway they wanted, or they didn't, it just didn't work for them. So now this new breath of fresh air on multiple pathways to recovery, and people being, coming out of the shadows like yourself and myself, and there's a lot of people in Jackson that are proud to be in recovery and show people that, you do recover, your life gets better.
It does.
Could you imagine you're a business owner, how many short years ago?
13 years ago, I would not have imagined that. 13 years ago, I didn't have even a high school diploma. I dropped out of high school at actually the 9th grade. Never made it past there. I ended up homeless, the whole run of the mill. So no, I would have never imagined that I'd be here now working on a master's degree, like all of these, and then this business, but more importantly, doing what I love. I would have never imagined that I would be in this place. And it's not something that I did on my own. Sure, I did the work, but I cannot stress the importance of community. Yeah. We have a community here that is like wanting to help people and move people along the direction, but sometimes they just don't know how. And so you have to have someone who can fill in the gaps. That's me.
That's a great point, and I know we got to wrap up, but Jackson does have a drug problem. But we also have an amazing recovery community. We have so many amazing community members that are
So
willing
many.
to help, so many resources. So if you've got a loved one that's suffering, or if you're suffering, contact Ravens Coaching or one of the other.
Yeah.
I mean, that part goes untold when we talk about Jackson
Definitely,
County.
definitely.
Well, I want to applaud you both because I know talking about it is probably not the easiest thing you guys do, but it's definitely bettering the community and helping getting the word out there. So
We do recover.
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Even
Even
that.
me.
Even
That
that.
mustache, the stash.
I've showed my kids and my wife. I've got a new move.
No. Oh.
It's
I was
been met,
hoping that would never happen.
it's been met with very high reviews at home. Tierney loves it. She says, "Will you do that again for me?"
Oh, that's something we'll never unsee again, Uni. I am sorry about. No, stop doing it, Pat. Stop doing it. Uni, it's great to meet you, and wish you
Nice to
continued
meet you as
success.
well.
And your office again is located.
At the Commonwealth
At the
Building, Suite
Commonwealth.
144, but we're doing business hours by appointment.
Awesome.
Yes.
So get a hold of Uni today
Yes.
if you need help. Pat, we have a golf outing coming up.
Yes,
that,
we do.
hopefully you shave that mustache for.
I will not. I will still have the mustache. May 17th at the Country Club. We do have 4 team spots available, so that means 38 teams. All of our sponsorships are sold.
Awesome.
We've actually had to create new sponsorships. It's going to be an amazing event. We've got a new Players Plaza thanks to American One Credit Union. Going to be a new style of golf outing. Before, during,
Cool.
and after, it's going to be high energy, a lot of fun. So if you want to, we've got 4 team spots left. Give us a call at the chamber, 782-8221.
Awesome. I will be there, and I'm looking forward to it. Pat, thanks as always. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And Uni, thanks again.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll be right back to wrap up the show after this quick break.